In the annals of American history, there is a conflict that often gets overshadowed by the Revolutionary War and the Civil War. It is a war that shaped the destiny of a young nation, yet it remains largely forgotten. Today, we delve into the story of the War of 1812. The early 19th century was a tumultuous time for the United States. Despite achieving independence from Britain, tensions remained high between the two nations. Issues like trade restrictions, impressment of American sailors, and British support of Native American tribes in the western frontier fueled the desire for war. In 1812, President James Madison, backed by a majority in Congress, made the difficult decision to declare war on Britain. This conflict would become known as the War of 1812. The war was fought on multiple fronts. From the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico, American forces faced a formidable opponent in the British Empire, which was preoccupied with the Napoleonic Wars in Europe, but still possessed a formidable navy. The American Navy, though small, proved to be a formidable force. In famous battles, such as the USS Constitution's victory over the HMS Guerriere, American sailors demonstrated their skill and bravery, earning the nickname Old Ironsides. The war also saw Native American tribes playing a significant role. Under the leadership of Tecumseh and his brother Tenskwatawa, a confederation of tribes fought alongside the British, hoping to halt American expansion into their lands. One of the most iconic battles of the War of 1812 was the Battle of New Orleans. American forces, led by General Andrew Jackson, faced off against the British in a fierce struggle for control of the city. Despite being heavily outnumbered, the American troops, including a diverse array of soldiers from different backgrounds, displayed incredible resilience and determination. The Battle of New Orleans took place in January 1815, after the Treaty of Ghent had been signed to officially end the war. However, due to the slow communication of the time, both sides were unaware of the treaty and continued to fight. In this pivotal battle, American forces strategically positioned themselves behind fortified earthworks, using their knowledge of the local terrain to their advantage. The British, under the command of General Edward Pakenham, launched a series of attacks, but were met with fierce resistance from the American defenders. General Jackson, known for his tenacity and leadership, inspired his troops to fight with unwavering determination. The American soldiers, including regulars, militia, free African Americans, and even pirates, stood firm against the onslaught of the British forces. After a series of failed attempts to breach the American defenses, the British suffered heavy casualties and were forced to retreat. The Battle of New Orleans was a resounding victory for the American forces and became a symbol of American pride and resilience. The War of 1812, although often overshadowed by the Revolutionary War, played a crucial role in shaping American identity and solidifying its position as a global power. The bravery and determination displayed by American soldiers during this conflict laid the foundation for future military successes and fostered a sense of unity among the American people. Eventually, news of the Treaty of Ghent reached both sides, officially ending the war. While neither side, one of the most decisive battles of the war, took place in New Orleans in 1815, led by General Andrew Jackson. A diverse American force consisting of regular soldiers, militia, and even free African Americans successfully defended the city against a British assault. Eventually, both sides grew weary of the conflict. In 1814, negotiators met in Ghent, Belgium, to discuss a peace treaty. The Treaty of Ghent, signed on December 24, 1814, restored the pre-war status quo, effectively ending the war. The War of 1812 had a profound impact on the United States. It solidified its status as a sovereign nation, bolstered national pride, and marked the beginning of a period of American industrialization. It also led to improved relations with Britain, laying the foundation for the special relationship that exists today. So, as we reflect on the forgotten conflict that was the War of 1812, let us remember the sacrifices made by those who fought, the lessons learned, and the enduring spirit that shaped a young nation. Narrator: the War of 1812 may have been a forgotten conflict in the annals of history, but its impact reverberated throughout the United States for years to come. The resilience and determination displayed by the American soldiers during the war solidified the nation's status as a sovereign power, no longer in the shadow of its European counterparts. As the smoke cleared and the Treaty of Ghent was signed, the United States could finally breathe a sigh of relief. The war had come to an end, and the nation could now focus on rebuilding and moving forward. But the aftermath of the war was not forgotten. The war had ignited a sense of national pride and unity among the American people. They had successfully defended their homeland against a formidable British assault, and this victory instilled a newfound confidence in the young nation. The War of 1812 became a symbol of American resilience and determination. Furthermore, the war had profound effects on the United States economy. During the conflict, the British had blockaded American ports, effectively cutting off trade. This forced the United States to look inward and develop its own industries and resources. The war became a catalyst for American industrialization, sparking a wave of innovation and economic growth that would shape the nation's future. But perhaps one of the most significant outcomes of the war was the improved relations between the United States and Britain. The two nations, once bitter enemies, now found common ground and a mutual respect. The Treaty of Ghent laid the foundation for a special relationship that would evolve over time, culminating in a strong alliance between the United States and Britain that endures to this day. As we reflect on the legacy of the War of 1812, let us remember the sacrifices made by those who fought on both sides. Let us recognize the lessons learned from this forgotten conflict and the enduring spirit that shaped a young nation. The War of 1812 may have been overshadowed by other events in history, but its impact on the United States and its people should never be forgotten. The War of 1812 served as a wake-up call for the United States, prompting the nation to look inward and develop its own industries and resources. Prior to the war, the United States had relied heavily on British imports and had not fully tapped into its own potential for economic growth. However, the British blockade during the war disrupted trade and forced the United States to find alternatives. This disruption led to a surge in American manufacturing and innovation. With limited access to British goods, Americans were forced to develop their own industries and produce their own goods. This sparked a wave of industrialization, as entrepreneurs and inventors sought to fill the void left by the British blockade. New factories were built, new technologies were developed, and new industries were born. The war also provided an opportunity for American entrepreneurs to experiment and innovate. With the British Navy blockading American ports, there was a need for new ways to transport goods and people. This led to the development of steam-powered ships, which proved to be faster and more reliable than traditional sailing vessels. The steamships revolutionized transportation and laid the foundation for future advancements in maritime technology. Additionally, the war improved relations between the United States and Britain. Despite being bitter enemies during the conflict, the two nations found common ground and a mutual respect. The Treaty of Ghent, which ended the war in 1814, laid the foundation for a special relationship between the United States and Britain. Over time, this relationship evolved and grew stronger. The two nations became trading partners, allies, and eventually close friends. Today, the United States and Britain share a strong alliance, built on shared values and common interests. As we reflect on the legacy of the War of 1812, it is important to remember the sacrifices made by those who fought on both sides. Many lives were lost, and the war had a profound impact on the people and the land. But it is also important to recognize the lessons learned from this forgotten conflict. The War of 1812 taught the United States the importance of self-reliance and the need to develop its own industries and resources. It sparked a wave of innovation and economic growth that would shape the nation's future. It also laid the foundation for a special relationship between the United States and Britain, one that endures to this day. While the War of 1812 may have been overshadowed by other events in history, its impact on the United States and its people should never be forgotten. It serves as a reminder of the enduring spirit and resilience that shaped a young nation and propelled it towards greatness.